The lines at Disney World are the longest they've ever been. People want the thrills, the chills, the spills, especially with all the new attractions coming to the parks. But if you're going to wait in these long lines, it's got to be worth it, right? So we asked our readers, what's a Disney World ride that has long wait times, but you don't think it's worth the wait?
Got a big one. We got a big one today. I feel like this is a very important thing to know because there is no worse feeling in the world than waiting an hour just to feel like the ride was you know? Like the amount of times in Disney World I've heard someone walking out of a ride and saying, well, that wasn't worth it, or that was a waste of a lightning lane. This is the kind of information that like Disney obviously isn't going to tell you, so we are going to tell you so that you don't waste time in lines that you don't need to.
No, line time is a thing.
Line time's good. You're not wasting line time either.
Line time. Yeah.
This is all opinion. These are opinions of our audience, our opinions. For some people, you might think that this ride is the most beloved ride ever and that you would wait 6 hours for it. Couldn't be me or us per se, but that's totally okay if it's you. You wait 6 hours for these rides if you want. We're not stopping you. But let's see, what are some of these rides that aren't worth the wait? Sage, what you got?
I'll tell you what, Quincy, some of these wait times for these attractions that like just aren't worth it, it just makes me so angry. I was just waiting to pull out the lightsaber. That's all I wanted to do.
I thought you were going to make a grumpy joke.
But yeah, or they make me grumpy because an attraction that I really don't feel is worth the insanity of a wait time that it actually gets. It's the highest wait time specifically at Magic Kingdom, and that would be Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So let's break down Seven Dwarfs Mine Train real quick. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is a family-style coaster inspired by the classic Walt Disney movie Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, where you hop in a mine cart and you zoom through gem mines so you can make it back to the dwarf celebration back in the cottage. And it is a celebration.
That's my kind of party.
There's dancing. There's old women with one big eye.
2 dwarves in a trench coat. Yeah.
That was my nickname in college.
That's because you're like 3 raccoons in a trench coat, Sage.
When we talk about family style coasters, what that means is, well, this is truly a family style coaster. It's really great for younger ones, or I guess younger ones who are just starting off wanting to ride roller coasters. It's like it's a starter coaster, if you will. So it's a tad more intense than Barnstormer, but way less intense than Big Thunder Mountain. So David D actually agrees with me. Says Mine Train must be the shortest ride at Disney. It's true. Compared to most Disney attractions, it can certainly feel pretty short, especially because of how long you wait for the attraction. Because of early entry, let's say the park opens at 9, early entry is 8:30. We're already at a 45-minute wait. By the time the park opens, like 10 o'clock, 10:30, we're already at 80, 90-minute waits. It's ridiculous. However, what I will say is Disney coasters tend to be shorter than typical Disney attractions because how much, the quicker you go on a ride, the quicker it's going to be over.
Fast ride, go fast, Sage Starkey.
Okay, hey, why do you think people love Living with the Land so much? It's because
slow ride, go slow.
Slow ride, go slow. Fast ride, go fast. But I did do some timing on some things just because I was bored one day and I thought it was interesting. So Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, it's right under 3 minutes. Now Disney's newest coaster attraction, Tron-like Cycle Run, is right under 2 minutes. So technically it is not the shortest coaster at Disney World, but I think it's just because of how long you're waiting.
I'm actually surprised by these times. It's like the shortest one that's listed here of like the main coasters is Rock and Roller Coaster at 1 minute and 20 seconds. And you never hear people say that ride was too short, but I think that's because it's high intensity. Yep. So like even like these other rides, like even Tron isn't that like, it's high intensity at the beginning. That launch is very high intensity, but the rest of it is kind of like cool, fun, speedy instead of high intensity. I think that like people want to experience that for longer than they do like loop-de-loops like on Rockin'. The absolute shortest ride in Disney World is Barnstormer, which I think comes in at, it's like 1 minute and 3 seconds. That ride is so short, but you'll notice that line like never gets above 25 minutes. So, and it's geared towards kids. Like, it is, you get what you're waiting for with that one. Whereas like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I think just like knowing how popular it is, it can feel disappointing when it's over because there's just not that much coaster. So you're seeing coaster, you're hearing coaster, but a lot of that ride is dark ride elements. Like, a reason that ride is so long is because you go through the dwarves mine and you see the dwarves like working in the mines, and you like go up that lift hill while they're singing hi ho, and then at the end, part of the attraction is seeing that dwarf scene at the end where they're dancing in the cottage. So like there's like dark ride thematic elements to this that isn't true of other coasters in a way that like elongates the ride, but the actual roller coaster portions itself are like over like that, and it's fun because the ride car swings back and forth, so you want it to be longer because it's fun and it's like relaxing and like exciting for everybody. And so I think that that's, even though it's not actually short, that's why it feels short, is because you want it to be longer in a way that you don't want to Aerosmith to scream at you while you're that's good at 1:30.
Speak for yourself. I mean, I don't know. That's your own thing, man. I love
say
when
just like
Aerosmith
10
screams at me.
straight minutes of rock and roller coaster. I'd be fine after. For sure I would be okay.
Just the entire Greatest Hits album. Just go.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Do you guys know the longest the roller coasters on property?
I don't.
It is, so that would be Cosmic Rewind and Big Thunder Mountain. They both sit at about 3.5
The good
minutes.
ones. I mean, they're all good, but the best ones. Those are like the two
Because
best.
Susie R., who also agrees that Fast Ride Go Fast, says, I will not wait or pay for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I hope it moves to Genie Plus so I can ride it again. So this is a thing. Currently, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is actually not offered with Genie Plus.
There are 2 individual Lightning Lane attractions at Magic Kingdom. It is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron Light Cycle Run. So currently, right now, you do have to pay an extra fee to ride both of those attractions. It is a per person, per ride fee, and it's going to change daily based on crowd levels.
Yeah, we always say the best time to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, if you want to avoid paying any of the Genie Plus costs, is the very last thing you do at night. You can watch this in a couple of our Perfect Day videos. The last one that Emma, Quincy, and I did, it was the very last thing we did. It was like 10:59, and we walked on. It was a walk-on. And it was awesome. So if you can hold out, until the very end of the night, recommend that's when you're going to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Also, sometimes if you can, wait for the fireworks. Angela C says, mine ride. I could never ride it again and be okay with that. It's short and a little on the boring side. Obviously, if I had small kids, it would be a good stepping stone for a roller coaster, but it definitely did not live up to the hype. Again, we could talk about this all day long. It is definitely a shorter ride with a really, really long wait time. But it is important to find stepping stones for little ones who are trying to, work their way up to Cosmic Rewind. So while the line might be intensely long, it is always important to find stepping stones for little ones as they're experiencing more and more grown-up attractions. Going from 0 to 60 might completely end up like overwhelming your child. I know that I went from 0 to 60. I think I went from like Barnstormer to Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom, and it took me a long time before I could ride Dinosaur ever again.
Like, as an adult, a Disney adult, or anybody going there, I'm with everybody. Don't waste your time, because I wanted it to be so awesome because of what Quincy was saying about, you get the story, you get some dark ride features, but the dark ride coaster, Everest is amazing. You get all those dark ride features in a coaster that you'd wish for. Putting Rock and Roller Coaster aside, since it's all inside, or putting Galaxy, Guardians inside, it's all inside. So I'm not counting those, but you look at Everest, that's your dark coaster that has the dark ride elements, because it themes perfectly, it's great, and you're constantly entertained. Where I think the train was, hey, here's a little bit of ride, and here's a wannabe, Thunder Mountain, and then you're going back and forth, and you're wanting more, and you're taking away. It's
in the same park as Thunder Mountain.
In the same park, yeah.
Right.
It's
like double mine train coaster theme, which was interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Splash Mountain, you've got some ups and downs and runs around, so that's kind of an intermediate from Barnstormer and stuff too, because you still get some drops and falls and stuff in there before you go onto a big time roller coaster. I mean, though the drop is scary possibly for kids, but before you're gonna go on a mine train, on a Thunder Mountain or a Space Mountain, like that might be your move, especially in that park.
People at home, it's been 7 years, around 7 years, maybe a little more since Mine Train opened. Why? Why is it such a high, such a long line for that attraction?
It's been 9 years.
That's insane.
Oh, that's, again, let me reiterate. Kids, it's been 9 years. Why are we still waiting 90 minutes for this attraction? I feel like it would have gone down at this point.
I also will say, I actually think the reason that Mine Train gets such long waits is because it's undeniably a must-do. It's a must-do the same way that, a lot of, you're not going to say skip Mine Train. Even though we're it's not worth the wait, that can be true, but also people should ride Mine Train when they go. And
I wholeheartedly disagree with you.
That's insane.
When my
you don't
people
think it's a must-do?
No, when my people come to town,
not for the
friends,
wait,
family,
not for the wait. But if somebody could get on it for under 30 minutes, that's totally a must-do. It's more a must-do than it's
a must-be last ride. It's a must-be last ride of the night.
It's as a last resort. You can't as a 30-minute or under, sure, but how often is it 30-minute or under? I will always tell people to go to Space. I will always tell people to go to Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain, Jungle Cruise, anything before they wait 80 minutes or 90 minutes before Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
For sure,
Why am I so heated?
The reality is you can get on Mine Train every day for under an hour wait. You just have to know what to do, and whether it's rope dropping it, whether you're okay with paying the usually $11 to ride Mine Train a person, whether you wait and ride at the very last minute in the night when it's usually 25-ish minutes. There's a way to do it. I also will say that I think that a lot of people, families and stuff, consider this one more a must-do because it's such a classic Snow White ride, which I think is why the demand is there. I actually don't think this ride is any higher demand than something like Space Mountain Big Thunder. However, it is lower capacity. So that's the nature of the ride, is that fewer people are getting pushed through it at a time, and that's why that line gets long. So long wait doesn't always mean best ride. For a long time, after the park closures, we were seeing the longest wait in Disney World was Navi River Journey. And that was because Navi River Journey has an incredibly low capacity because it's these small boats on it. And it is highest demand because it's Pandora and there was social distancing going on. But if you just looked at wait times, you would be like, this has gotta be the best ride in Disney World. And you would have been wrong. So that it doesn't mean best. It doesn't mean most popular. It just means popular and low capacity. So that's, I think, what's really happening here. This next one's definitely interesting, Fry, the one that you've brought us, because this is, unlike Mine Train, an undeniable must-do, I think, for most people, and hands down a very classic one, but not worth the wait, maybe? What do you think?
Yes, so the attraction that I am bringing to the table that is definitely not worth the long waits that it always has, also in Magic Kingdom, also in Fantasyland, and yes, I am talking about Peter Pan's Flight.
Speak on it.
Let me explain. Peter Pan's Flight is a classic Disney dark ride. It is taking you through the story of Peter Pan. You fly over London, you go to Neverland. It's an awesome ride, and it's classic Disney. However, it is not worth the 60, 80, 90, 120 minute wait that I've seen it have. And I have readers that agree with me. Dina S. says, I love Peter Pan, especially with its use of forced perspective, but if I can't get on it first thing with no wait, it will get skipped. So again, Peter Pan's Flight can often have at least an 80-minute wait, if not more. Lines will last the whole entire day. Because it is such an in-demand attraction, it is classic, everybody wants to ride it. It's an amazing ride, everybody has to do it. It is must-do, but again, I don't think it's worth the wait. It also is extremely hard to rope drop this attraction because of early entry. So if you are a Disney Resort guest, you have access to the parks 30 minutes before regular other normal day guests, and the only lands that are open for early entry is Tomorrowland and Fantasyland. So all of these resort guests are going straight to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Peter Pan's Flight. Like, that is all that they are going to. So that's why those two rides are on this list today, because they're already going to be full before resort guests or regular guests even get to go hop in the lines. Again, talking about the length of the attraction, it's about only 2.5 minutes. So if you wait 2 hours or even 80 minutes for 2.5 minutes, you're going to walk off of that ride thinking, that was not great, because you waited so long.
I feel passionately about all of these rides we're going to talk about today. And clearly I didn't take like a blood pressure medication or something, but here's what I'll say just real quick about Peter Pan is that every time I ride it, I'm just a tad disappointed. I think it is lovely and it's magical. And the best part about it, hands down, is when you're flying over London. The forest perspective, very cool. It gives E.T. vibes, but not because it's Disney. My issue is that every time I ride it, I feel like the ride gets darker and darker, and I'm not able to see as many things as clearly as
That's just you aging.
Yeah, it's
how
age,
dare you?
Speaking from experience, that's just age, bud.
Listen, I've been
dare
there
you.
too. Wow. I can't see anything if the lights aren't on now. Like,
oh my god! I was talking about like that it needs a tune-up, but sure, maybe it's time to get my eyes checked.
There are people out there, our readers, that feel the same way. Kierna T said, Peter Pan, is it just me or has the ride gotten really dark? I can barely see the figures anymore. I love Peter Pan, but this might need an update.
And Kierna, that's a younger name. That's a younger name, Kierna.
Oh.
I'll
tell you
probably
right now,
younger.
I for sure think the reason the sage thinks it's gotten darker is because he's getting old and his eyes are failing. I think that for Kierna T, it's definitely because the ride needs a tune-up, for sure.
I'm not that
A little
old.
dusting to the lights. I'm going to be on the other side of this a little bit, where it may not be worth a 90-minute wait or more, but waiting an hour for this ride for the Disney traditionalists out there, the true fans from the get-go. I mean, this is one of the last original dark rides. I mean, Snow White's gone, things like that are gone. This is the last one there, and we know how things turn so fast in these parks at times. Well, fast, I mean, it takes years, but things are happening constantly, and there's always new things, so you never know when that might one day not be that ride anymore. And because everything's just, technology's getting better, things are getting better. And I think, if you're not an annual pass holder, if you're not a Florida resident that goes to the parks often, I think this is a must do. And I would say, get there early, but it is something to kind of kick off your trip if going to one of those original rides that's been there for a really long time. And I think the story's there. I think it's one of the better storytelling rides for the most part. And I think it has a great feel to it. So the queue is, at least for the most part, covered. So even if there's, a typical Florida weather and you're waiting in line for an hour, you're still protected a little bit. You may have a little shade. It may not be the best, but it's definitely not the worst. And I kind of feel like, and I don't wait for nothing. This is the only ride that I typically, besides Haunted Mansion, that I will actually wait for is Peter Pan.
I will also say the queue is really indoors. It's air conditioned, not the best air conditioning in Disney World for sure. It can get toasty in there, but it is air conditioned. It's indoors, and it's a heavily themed and interactive queue. Mine Train actually has a heavily themed and interactive queue as well. This one is better, I think, in my opinion, probably in most people's opinions, because it feels like walking into the Peter Pan movie in a way that is just really spectacular. You walk into the Darlings' house, you walk past Nana's doghouse, you walk into the kids' bedroom, and Tinkerbell is flying around, and there's shadows. You can, your own shadow comes alive and interacts with other shadows. It's an incredible interactive queue, and one that I actually think at least once it's worth maybe waiting an hour just to experience the queue. Just because if you've never done that before, if you're always skipping Line with Lightning Lane or just skipping Peter Pan altogether, you're not seeing maybe the coolest queue in all of Disney World. It's hard to think of ones that rival it. Maybe Haunted Mansion's Graveyard is a great one as well, but it's one of the coolest queues in Disney World. It's worth seeing at least once, and the wait for the ride and the queue combined can feel a little more worth it. So I think that's a good, that's a point in this one's favor as well. Whereas I wouldn't say you need to experience the interactive queue at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Like, it's cool, but that one is mostly geared towards keeping your kids busy. Like, it's a lot of like water features and things that kids can spin and see projections or light up gyms that when they press. Whereas this one is like, there's some really cool tech, some really amazing theming in this one.
I agree with you, because those things make it seem shorter. So even if you're there an hour, it doesn't feel like an hour. If you're there for an hour 45 or hour 30, it doesn't feel that way. Where there's other rides that you sit there, it's just like, after 5 minutes you check your watch and you're like, it's
any of the ones on an alien planet, those queues feel so long. Why am I in a cave for 80 years? Like, what happened that I now live in this cave?
Isn't time and space supposed to be faster when isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Fast ride, go fast.
We do have readers that do agree that the queue does help this attraction's wait time. Like Taylor K, she said Peter Pan, good classic ride, but the line is too long. Thank goodness for the super cute queue. So again, a lot of you out there agree with us. And actually, I only just now, in the past month, went through the standby queue for the first time since it got redone. And so I've only been through the queue once, and I loved it. Normally, I use Lightning Lane for Peter Pan, or wait until the very end of the night, and like the whole queue isn't even open. Like they kind of block it off. So
with the line is short, you'll just walk.
Ride. Yeah. So I've only gone through it once, and I thought it was so fun. I was with my parents, and they hadn't done it either. And so we were all just like little kids looking at something new for the first time, and it was super fun. And even all the adults are playing with the shadows, and it's super cute. So that does give it a point in its favor. However, again, if the line is super, super long, it might hold your attention for 5 minutes, but then you're still in that line for quite a long time.
There is definitely another ride that is a common answer when people talk about rides that aren't worth the wait. And earlier I mentioned recently hearing somebody say like, well, that was a waste of a Lightning Lane. It was coming off of this ride.
I'm afraid to talk about this ride because I might fall asleep just describing it. So bear with me there. But the Navi River Journey is maybe it's so dark and I get so sleepy by the time I'm there anyway.
I'm just here to clown everyone for being old today. I too am old.
I own it. I take it. Everybody can see it out there. But the Navi River Journey over in Pandora, I think, may be one of the biggest wasted times out there. Navi River Journey is over in Pandora. It's a slow-moving boat ride attraction. Slow. It's already in the description. Slow-moving boat ride attraction that takes you deep into the bioluminescent Pandoran rainforest. It is a very family-friendly attraction, and it gets pretty dark. It is inspired by the movie Avatar. You get really, like, inside of it, you can see all the creatures, the plant life. You come face-to-face with a larger-than-life avatar. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful ride, and if it's something that you want to relax in and take a nap in, or just see all the really gorgeous things like a movie coming to life, then this is definitely the ride for you. But you really have to love the movie if you want to wait as long as you have to wait to get on this thing. This is the one out of all of them that we talked about today that I think it is, to me, is just if you're not a fan, I wouldn't go there. I would wait for Mine Train. If you want to wait for anything, I'd wait for Peter Pan. Rachel S is with me. She goes, Navi River, just never understood the long wait, but really wish that they would have made it with a drop over waterfall or something. Maybe give it something extra to bring it in to make it worth it. But what's your guys' thoughts on the Navi River journey? Are you Avatar people?
I am. Listen, I did not care at all about Avatar. And then, even when Pandora came out, in Disney World, I was like, yeah, it's fine. But, I didn't even feel like I liked it as much as other people until I saw Avatar Way of Water. I am now an Avatar person. I bought a Navi ear headband because AI told me to, and you can see that on the channel. But, I am now an Avatar person. I love it. It's so pretty. It's so cool. The stories are amazing. And I actually am one of the very rare people who really appreciates Navi River Journey. I'm one of those people you're describing that for me, I really like this ride. One thing I always say about Navi River Journey is that in Animal Kingdom, you're expected to be transported to these other places and see the wildlife there. In the Africa and Asia lands, this culminates in the animal trails where you can actually walk and see real live animals. In Pandora, you can't have real live animals because it's from an alien planet that is in a movie. That is what that ride is filling there, is that you're experiencing the environment of Pandora, which is this very cool environment that has been lovingly crafted in a way that feels natural and normal in the way that the animal trails do. No, it's not exciting. No, there's not a plot, but you're supposed to be transported to Pandora on this ride in a way that is also more accessible than Flight of Passage and has more practical effects, which is really cool. So I think that like that's what the purpose of this ride is. It gives me a different appreciation for this ride. However, it's definitely boring, like compared to like everything else you can do in Animal Kingdom. For sure, it's boring.
You were selling me on it. You were like,
Yeah,
I was like, I might be a changed person. But by the way, it's boring.
I appreciate it. I really love that ride. But every single time, I'm going to use Genie Plus on that attraction if I'm going for fun, or I'm just going to skip it. Like, I wait in the line for work all the time, but for fun, I'm not waiting in the line for that. Like, even though I love it, even though I really appreciate what the ride is, and I am feral for an animatronic, and that animatronic is insane. Have you guys seen the video of her like saying "Welcome to Pandora"? And it's the animatronic
when
from
they first
Here Up.
released it.
And she says like, "Welcome to Pandora, Wenate Kameya." And it looks like a human actress in Navi paint. Like it's like, but it's the animatronic's face. It's insane. Robots are crazy. Anyway, I'm very pro Navi River Journey, and I still don't think it's worth the wait. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Well, I mean, for a boat ride, I'm still Rachel here. I want more of a story too. I mean, you get to see everything, and they do some things a story, but like she's referencing getting on pirates like there's just some of these other boat rides have more to them. You're getting more education about where you're at or what's going on, and whether it be the place or story or whatever. Like, I mean, you even go ride the boat ride in Mexico. Like, that's I would rather ride that boat ride. And sometimes, maybe I'll wait in a really long line for that ride. Okay, I will, because it's the margarita first, because that line's really long, and that line's really worth waiting a long time for, and then riding the boat ride over to Mexico. So there are some things worth waiting in line for that may go into an attraction, but I'm with in that one. So Chelsea R says the Navi River Journey. I mean, sure, it's pretty, but it's only about 30 seconds long. The ride is approximately 4.5 minutes. But like for some, I just say it's only 30 seconds long. You've waited a long time to get on something to make that time value seem like it's nothing when you're on there. But typically the line for Navi can be anywhere between 40 and 70 minutes. While it lacks many things, why do you believe, besides I know that it's a small ride, it's a boat ride, and it's limited passengers, why else do we think that ride, and it's 4.5 minutes long, why else? What really makes it that long of a wait? Is Avatar? I mean, I know that this movie has been out for a long time. I know the new movie just came out, but there was a very long time in between 1 and 2, and that ride always has had a huge wait. Why else do we think that wait has been that long the entire time?
I'm actually going to double down on what Dustin said. I'll vouch for you, Dustin, that they are definitely trying to, first thing, speed the boats along, because just like Quincy mentioned about Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, it really is about, capacity, how many times you can get this ride going, how many people you can funnel through. And last time I was on Navi River Journey, they literally made it into an Omni mover like Haunted Mansion. The boats were back to back. So I think that's probably why they make it, that's why it's probably a long attraction. For me, I actually think it's bad labeling. I just think because people think it's attached to Avatar, and it's right next to Flight of Passage, and it's all kind of looped into one big Avatar Pandora thing. I can't tell you how many times I've been in line and they do not know what they're in line for. They think, I'm here for Pandora. That's what they think. They don't know I'm here for Flight of Passage, or I'm here for Navi River Journey. They're like, oh, this is the line for Pandora. This is the line for Avatar, right? And it's because nothing is really well labeled other than a post from time to time.
You're right. It's funny you say. I agree. That's funny because when I was there and I was going to see my buddy over there, because I haven't been to Avatar area in a while. Like it's been a hot minute because I don't really want to wait in line, and it's not my go-to. There's other things in Animal Kingdom I prefer to spend my time doing. But when I went over to go see him, I almost kind of forgot where the line was and had to look for the signs. And the signs are terrible over there. Tell me where to go. I walk this way, walk back around that way, and when I'm there, then I still don't even realize that I'm there until I see all the strollers, and I'm like, and they don't even know where to go. Or you also have the same thing where the line's all the way through the back, that people just get in line because what else do you do at Disney other than just standing in line? So you're like, oh, there's a line. Let me go get in that line. It must be something really cool. I must be in line for something really cool, and then you're there to buy a long fruit or a banana or whatever it may be. You know? So, but that's what you're there. But you're in line for a boat ride. You know. So I get it. I get it. I'm with you. You're absolutely right. That's so funny you say that. So Yolanda says River Journey, hands down, nothing happens. The animatronic at the end is cool, but it's a safari of screens and glow in the dark plants. Like that's, I mean, you're not wrong.
Savage.
You're not wrong, but yeah, she kind of takes it and just rips it right open. I don't care what time I walk into Magic Kingdom. If it is a 4-hour wait to ride Haunted Mansion, I'm gonna wait 4 hours because that's something I love and it's my favorite. So if you love Avatar and that is your thing, and you're a newfound believer like Quincy is after watching the second movie, like, and if you become a newfound believer as the new ones roll out, then absolutely, more power to you. Wait on that ride so you can experience, because there's a lot of cool stuff to see. But for me, it's one of those times you've seen it once, you don't need to see it again because there's nothing new that's going to happen when you're there. So. That's where I'm gonna wrap it up with that for me, for my opinion on the River Journey, is that it's not worth the wait if you've at least done it once.
All three of these rides, beloved attractions. Every single one, somebody loves them. We love them, at least one of us. So it's these rides sometimes could be worth the wait. None of this means they're outright not worth the wait for you. If these are things you've never tried or really want to try or love, wait that hour. We don't care. We want you to have the best vacation possible. But if you don't know what to expect, just keep in mind that this is a common thing a lot of people are saying. And sometimes maybe your hour is better spent elsewhere, waiting for something else or eating a snack. Or you could eat a snack in line for this or something else.
See you at Muppet Vision 3D.
Yeah, Vision 3D. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And now go watch our episode about the annual pass. We'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.